What Nicaragua did is a threat to anyone who supports Israel. Nicaragua has taken a significant step by bringing the case before the International Court of Justice, urging the court to intervene and halt Germany's military aid to Israel. The Nicaraguan government argues that by providing military support to Israel, Germany is complicit in enabling actions amounting to genocide and violations of international humanitarian law in Gaza. This legal action is part of a broader effort by countries with historical ties to the Palestinian people to challenge Israel's military operations. Germany, being the second largest supplier of arms to Israel after the US, finds itself at the center of this legal battle. Although the case directly targets Germany, it indirectly addresses Israel's military campaign, which has inflicted significant casualties and devastation in Gaza over the past 6 months. It's a genocide. Nicaragua's move follows similar legal attempts, such as South Africa's accusation against Israel at the ICJ late last year. In presenting its case to the ICJ, Nicaragua's ambassador to the Netherlands, Carlos José Arguello Gomez, emphasized Germany's failure to uphold its obligations under international law to prevent genocide and ensure compliance with humanitarian standards. Germany, represented by its legal team headed by Tanja von Uslar-Gleichen, refutes Nicaragua's claims, asserting that its support for Israel does not breach international law. Israel vehemently denies allegations of genocidal acts, arguing that its military actions are defensive responses to attacks by Hamas-led fighters. The conflict's toll in Gaza has been severe, with over 33,000 Palestinians killed, most of whom women and children. Despite Israel's defense, Nicaragua presses forward with its case, seeking immediate suspension of German aid to Israel and urging the resumption of funding to the UN aid agency in Gaza. The legal proceedings at the ICJ highlight the complexities surrounding arms supply to conflict zones. Germany's substantial support for Israel underscores the role of arms suppliers in conflicts and raises questions about their accountability under international law. Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, pro-Palestinian demonstrators voice their solidarity, urging an end to weapon sales to Israel. The international community's response to the conflict has been mixed. While the UN's top human rights body called for an end to arms sales to Israel, the United States and Germany opposed the resolution. In the UK, hundreds of jurists, 600 reportedly, have called on their government to suspend arms sales to Israel following the deaths of aid workers in Israeli strikes. Germany's historical support for Israel adds another layer of complexity to the situation. Chancellor Olaf Scholz cited Germany's responsibility stemming from the Holocaust as a reason for supporting Israel's security. However, as civilian casualties in Gaza mount, Germany's stance appears to be evolving, with increasing criticism of the humanitarian situation and opposition to further military actions. Nicaragua's involvement in the legal battle against Germany reflects its long-standing ties with Palestinian organizations dating back to the 1979 Sandinista revolution. They also filed a lawsuit against the US previously, taking down the leftist government, similarly to what the US has done in many Latin American countries. Now, a question arises here. Why did they not take the US to the ICJ? The US is not subject to the ICJ's compulsory jurisdiction, but individual treaties may grant the ICJ jurisdiction on a case-by-case basis. While the US has not signed the protocol to the Genocide Convention allowing disputes to be brought to the court, it is party to over 80 international agreements with the ICJ clauses. Nicaragua's focus on Germany likely stems from Germany's significant support for Israel, being one of its major arms suppliers. Israel is also not a member of the ICJ and does not recognize its jurisdiction. However, it has signed the Genocide Convention, hence why the case has been brought against it by South Africa. And ever since this has been raised by South Africa, more and more countries which either recognize the ICJ's jurisdiction or signed the Genocide Convention have taken serious steps to shift away from Israel and halt their arms exports in fear of repercussions such as those Germany is facing.